By popular demand, we're here at Lightning Ridge to show you their famous black opal.
We're all clear. I ignore them. I go against all regulations. That's why I live in Lightning Ridge. Sure does. Well, that big truck you got up there, I can do 2 of them a day and get them down to the Adji and in, which is heaps. Most blokes would do one small truck a day, which is about 1/3 of our big truck. This is a steel band that forms under our sandstone roof. All opal fields, or majority of most opal fields have a sandstone roof, and we don't know why, but unless you have that sandstone roof, you don't seem to have opal form under it. Then underneath our sandstone roof, in this particular field, and it's not common in all, but in this field, we then have what we call this steel band, and why it's called steel band is for the obvious reason it's as hard as steel. And then directly below the steel band is the opal clay itself, and as you can see there's a distinctive line there. That's the steel band now, and that's the clay, and the opal clay is where the opal is formed. And to bring it back into relevance to the face that you see here, there's your steel band, and then directly under the steel band this is the level that the opal forms in. This particular bit of level here is what we call a blow, and we believe it's been some major reaction happened many millions of years ago, and it's forced rock and conglomerate down into the opal level, and for some reason wherever these blows form we tend to get opal, whether it's in the blows or to the side of them. And to give you the idea of a difference, you can see the scrape marks on the blow here because it's so hard that the digger leaves those scratch marks, whereas if you move around to here, this is the opal level without a blow, and as you can see the scratch marks aren't as distinctive, and that's because the dirt's softer, so the teeth go through the dirt a lot easier. And a very good example, I'll drop that, a very good example here is the opal level, and then you move down to here, and here is some opal which is running quite low. This is where we find our least quality opal. Our poorest quality opal is probably better wording. Because it's so far down from the roof, it tends to be of poorer quality, and as the opal moves closer to the roof, we get some of our higher quality opal. Tends to, we don't know why, but it tends to form right underneath the steel band.
That's where you're going to get most of your colour.
That's where you're going to get the majority of your gem quality colour. Still get colour here, but not as good a quality. Moving across to here, here is some opal with colour, but again, it doesn't kick out and jump because it's a poorer quality opal. But it's still a saleable item, it's still worth money, it's just not your gem opal. Moving across to here, you can see the opal again forming in this lovely mottly opal dirt or opal clay. And Paul, my partner and I, when we see this type of dirt, we get very excited. We love this red mottly dirt. It tends to produce the opal. And that's what it's all about. This is our super digger. This is what we dig our dirt with. It's an electric motor, 3-phase motor, pumping hydraulic oil into the machine. Machine works on hydraulic rams. You'll see how it goes. It's got wheels on it to walk the digger up to the face, as you'll see. Then we have these roof rams that pin it into the roof, and these leg rams peg it into the ground. And as you'll see now, Paul's digging. What we do, he digs the floor away and gets it nice and level, because we've got to pick the dirt up later, so there's no point in having a floor up and down. It's got to be lovely and level, so he digs from the bottom and digs his way up to the top. When he gets near the opal level, he actually digs underneath the opal level, what we call undercutting, and then we drop the level down. And that means that the opal's got less chance of getting damaged. If we're not putting the digger into the level, but above it and under it, much better chance of the opal not being damaged. This super digger produces 72 tonne of pressure at the digging point, which is the teeth. Enormous bit of gear. In the old days, they used to do all this by hand. They'd dig it with a hand pick or jackhammers. Needless to say, we get a lot more dirt dug these days. And the name of the game with opal mining is moving dirt. The more dirt you move, the more likelihood you have of finding opal. It's as simple as that. So if you can get into this sort of gear, you're very efficient. This plate that's underneath where that clod's stuck, that's on there. That's so when he comes down onto the opal or the clay, it breaks it up into small pieces. We can't have big pieces because it won't come out of the back of the truck and go into our adjunct. So subsequently, it saves a lot of time having that plate because you've got a big surface area to break. We have to dig a 7-foot high roof, or the drive has got to be 7 foot high, solely for this digger to operate. And I'll explain to you that. What that means is when Paul brings the digger back, this has got to have room underneath the roof for the action to work. Otherwise, the digger just can't dig the dirt. All the time that he's operating the digger, these rams are being pushed up into the roof all the time. That's to stop the digger from tumbling over. If they start to creep down, obviously it becomes unpinned and it'll fall out. There it'll kill you. As you'll see now, he pulls the roof pins out, he lifts the roof leg rams up, sits it back on its wheels, and that's how it works. Now he's walked up to the face again, pins it again, and then he's able to start digging again. Paul will keep repeating the process, moving further and further into the face. He will get to a stage where the dirt's that high, like you see over here, that he then has to pull away and go off to another area and start digging again. What Paul's dug now would be about as much dirt that you could dig in a day with a jackhammer. Gives you an idea. And in addition, you'll have sore elbows, a headache and a bad back. Plug here, it's electric purple, very nice. I can bring it up to you and I'll show you it closer. Runs around here. We've got more in the face just here, little bits and pieces. Right there, buddy. Yep. Yep. Now, if we can find it, as you can see, this is why we wash our dirts. Very hard to find the opal sometimes. Yeah, mate. I don't even know where that went. One piece.
Looking for a green spot,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. And it was in this white hard dirt. But you can see why we wash it because, and it was quite a large piece too. But
know what you're
no,
throwing out, would you?
there it is. Oh yeah, good one for the camera. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Purple colour there.
We've got some nice colour here. That'll be a few dollars. Pay for the fuel bill. Now, what you're looking at there is very typical of seam opal. As you can see, it runs in a seam. We've got some nice greens. You move it about, you'll get your play of colours. We've got nice green here and purple. Of course, we don't know how far that opal will come back into this dirt, and we won't know until this goes into our agitator, which is like a big cement mixer with windows on the side. We pump water into it, all the mud and slush comes out, and at the end, all you have is all your hard rock plus your opal. And after a couple of weeks of putting dirt into the agi, we stick it in reverse, it all spins out onto a table, and then it's payday, hopefully.
Excellent.
Okay?
Wonderful.
But that's a,
See, it comes at the back.
yeah, it comes through the back, and as you can appreciate, you just don't know what's there. You don't know what sort of money's involved in that.
Okay.
Right?
In your basket.
Yep, no, you could, well, yeah, we'll keep that, that's right. Well, I'll keep that as a, well, there you go. That's for you. No, you can have that. There you go.
Excellent.
You got your own opal, mate.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's
I'll
nice
be
opal.
dribbling away.
Yeah. No, that's nice opal.
Okay, I'll put it somewhere safe so it don't
No
get
worries.
over.
As you can appreciate, that's the sort of stuff that we sell in the shop as specimens.
Yeah.
Just exactly like you. People just want to have something.
Because it wasn't actually seen on black light.
No, that's right. No. The blowers that we use, they're completely the opposite. They scream their brains out. Upstairs, you can't even hear yourself. The motor's roaring that hard. And then even underground, because of all the rush of the air and rushing up the 9-inch, it's really, really noisy. And it's very hectic because all the time you're pelican pick. We have a pelican pick. It's like a shovel, but it's not. And because you've got this 9-inch hole right underneath the digger. So you're pulling the dirt back with the digger and it goes into the pipe and up it goes. But of course it's still hard to get it all with the digger, so you're doing a lot of manual work, pulling it back. And the noise is quite deafening.
Like a giant vacuum cleaner.
Like a giant vacuum cleaner. And literally if you've got a good, because blowers come in good and bad. Some have got bigger motors and suck more stuff. Yes, the bigger the motor, of course, the more efficient that they can suck the dirt up. Our blower's that powerful that if you put your foot in front of the pipe, it'll just suck your boot fair off your foot. I'll just see if you've got enough lead, mate.
Right, we've finished in there. We've only got one pillar to take that's got money in it, and that's that one there in the middle. See that one?
How do you know it's got money in it?
Oh, because we've got money all the way around it.
Uh-huh.
And there's still a nice chunk of potch in it on the far side. So that's just one of those bonuses, you know, where you just... Anyway, that's about it, about there. Come on, I'll show you some...
Oh, what's that?
Yeah, well, see, that's gravel from upstairs, you know, 25 feet up. So this blow, in theory, blew through the ground, blew through the roof, and popped out at the top. And because anything that blows up blows out dirt. So all the sides have caved in and fallen back down. And that's why we've got gravel from upstairs. And we get big boulders too, you know, granite, you know, and they're in the blow. Now that kind of blows are pretty interesting because all the way around here has been money all the way, right? Even though it's gritty and looks similar, but it's not. This has gravel from upstairs. We even have blows that from the gravel from the Merino Basin is in it. It's just like gravel bed, can't believe it, but baked in like cement. And actually harder than cement because we can't even dig it with 80 tonne.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but there's opal in it, see here? See that?
Oh, yes.
So, when you think about it, the opal must have been formed first before the blow came through and blew it apart. So how did it get in bits and pieces through it? So the opal wasn't formed later, because you can find that bit, dig it, then put it in the algae and find the other bit and put together, yet it'd be 10 feet away.
How weird.
Yeah, so weird. So was the colour before the blow or after the blow, or had nothing to do with each other? There's some mystery, but it does hang around the blows. Some blows have money and some blows don't.
They're just like all little pebbles in there.
Yep, yeah. And you got the same again, potch, colour, you know. Yeah.
Would that be like? Is that like a little
fault?
Fault, and that
Yeah.
potch is forming
Up here,
along
but
the
it's not
top.
formed. So you understand? It's on its side.
Okay.
It's a vertical, so it's pointing straight up, and there's bits missing off it. You know, you dig it out and you'll find, you know, around there somewhere, a foot away, the other half. So it must have been a plate at one stage. It could have been, the potch could have been 50 feet down maybe. Or it could have been another level in the top and it's all fallen back and just got mixed up and then cemented again. See?
It's all a mystery, isn't it?
Yeah, see, no one's actually worked out that, you know. Well, see, looking here, that's where you see where the steel band is on the roof. And a good example is that is well bonded. But why have we knocked down? Because back this way towards us, it's gotten brittle for some reason. So we knock it down and dispose of it. But then you go along and keep it until it gets that hard, it just won't crack off. So we leave it. There's no need to bring it down because 99% of the opal is underneath it. So we just keep an eye on it. If there's potch in it, we must come back to it, you know, and then have a look in it. And again, over there's another ledge. See that ledge there? Again, you can see where, if you hold, if someone hold the light, here, just hold that light and I'll show you. That's why we don't walk over here anymore, it's off limits. See that little line there?
Yeah.
Right? See, you learn that's dangerous because it's coming away. So we don't go over there, that's why it's off limits. Now, when you're under it digging it first, you know with a digger, because you can feel the roof move a bit. So you know when you bring down your big roof pins, you don't just let them fly down, you just give them gentle, you know, watch the roof and get ready for the run. Oh, but you don't, it's just a quick jump, you're on 10 feet because you're that scared. But it doesn't take much to hit you on the head,
No,
you know, and you bug it up, you're weak. So that's what we do, knock it down. And then when you're looking over here, you can see there's grey. There, you can see the shadow.
Yep.
Right into this little
Yeah,
pocket
on
shadow.
that back wall there.
That there, that's the opal is in that top section where the shadow I'm making. See all along the roof.
The lighter colour.
Yeah, the lighter colour. That's where the money is, not much in the dark. Okay? But when you look here, it's white. That opal over there is different colours and different shades than over here. Why? I don't know. It's got to do with the clay. Different, it's more marshy over there, right? And as you go further and further, the country gets higher and higher. Yet when you go on top, it's still flat. So the underground's like this, and yet the top of the paddocks upstairs is dead flat. So there's been a lot of movement, and that way maybe that's getting edge of the pond.
Okay.
You know, or we're getting the deeper part where the real shit gets and the mud gets, so it doesn't form as good a opal. Yeah, no, it was around here. So let's. Yeah, maybe we can. Hang on. Opal is.
It's reflective, isn't it, to a certain type of light.
Yeah.
The way it comes from. No, it's sort of nothing there, isn't it?
Nothing.
It's blowing it out.
Yeah. Probably where it was is probably the best, I'd say.
I'll just try severing. That's
So standing here, I can tell it's brilliant.
Yeah. Nice to see
just
colour.
hold her on this one because I'm not making it very still. That's better.
He's my baby. Look at the camera. Have a look at the camera. Come here. Here's my girl. Come here, Molly. That's my baby. That's my girl. That's my girl. He's my baby. Hey, he's my baby girl.
So we've got two pieces that we're going to try and prep up and shape, and then, but we need to, as I said, we need to slice that one. I'm slicing across there for this stone, and the same with this one. As you can see, there's some impurities in there, there's some sand there, and there's a little tiny fracture just in there, which you can see. I'm not sure if you can see close enough in there, but it's there, there's a little, so we're hoping we'll rub that away. But first of all, we'll just slice that down there on this, and then on this one here we've got, want to make a nice round, because you're just basically trying to keep the nicest part of the stone in one area, and then we'll make a stone out of this piece up this end here. So we're hoping for a stone here and one there. Shouldn't be any problem at all for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this little machine on now and slice it. So now we've got 4 pieces, which I'll now slice. I'll pre-form them on this machine over here. It is a shame to waste the opal, but at the moment commercial opal still, the oval cabochon still selling better, simply because, you know, the market's a little bit down, but it still has to be sold, so we have to we still try and cut the opal to the market, so there's no easy way of cutting sort of appreciating to a commercial. It just has to be commercial at the moment. None of us like really rubbing away nice opal. Now, so we've got one pre-formed now. Now this one here, I've got a few little sandy inclusions here which I want rid of those, and that little bit there. Also, I'm not sure if you can see that, but I just want rid of that as well. So we'll be going in a little bit there and then taking that away and trying to make another smaller oval there. So we'll just put that there for a minute, and we'll just pre-form this little fella. So we've got a nice little stone that's not too bad there, which is sort of almost to the proportions that they like. It's a fraction long, but not too long. So you sort of try and keep them at least that sort of short, but not, you know, you don't want them too much shorter because then you end up with little round buttons. That's a little bit round, but that's not too bad. And if this one is just, that's about the right size, like you think of that just as in a ring, it's just the right sort of proportion for a ring size. Sometimes, you know, the more rounded pieces are okay too, but this is sort of more the ideal that they would like. So we'll put a little bit of fresh wax on. As you see, we don't, as you can see, we don't get it too hot or anything. We just warm it so that we can work with so it doesn't fly off. I don't particularly like that. As you can see, there's still a tiny little bit of sand in there, which I'm going to roll down and get rid of, and a tiny bit on the edge. Starting to get it into, as you can see, rolling down that little edge on it. So is noisy, but it's does a good job. Start up the polish. Just to get a nice start of polish on it.
Greens stand out, don't they?
Yeah, you get that. So now I'm going to go over to the polish wheel, which is over there, and then we'll just do the last polish on it. Then we'll turn it over and we'll do the back. So if that's not too shiny, is that okay?
It's further down.
Yeah. Just shows that little bit of orange and blue. Okay.
Well, that's it for Lightning Ridge, and we're back on the road again looking for another gem seek adventure. And remember, look after those gems.
You forgot, what part did you forget? Remember, look after those gems. So see you soon.
Yeah. So we'll see you soon, and remember, look after those gems.